All right, and we are back. We are back, and we're still black. Well, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Shango Da Don, and I am back again with my beautiful co-host MoeMoe, and this is MoeMoe and the Don Show, where we talk about love, dating, relationships, health, wellness, everything under the sun, bringing our both unique points of view to the conversation. So earlier, we wanted to hear from Miss MoeMoe, and we want to know what you got going on, girl, and what being a part of this show is all about from your perspective.
Well, I'm just chilling, loving Hawaii. I've been here 12 years and I love it. And I just want to bring to the show, a his and her perspective. We people like to hear things from a male's perspective. People also like to hear things from a female's perspective. So I want to be here to speak for some of the ladies, and you could be here to speak for some of the males.
Okay, then. I hope y'all trust me with that. Well, if you don't know me, my name is Shango Da Don. I've been around in Hawaii for about close to 30 years now. But I don't want to give away my age like that. But just like Momo said, want to give folks a different set of perspectives on some topics that aren't always very comfortable to talk about. Which brings us to the topic, at least the first topic, a successful relationship versus a perfect relationship. Um, from my own experience, having a successful relationship means a few different things. Number one, it means understanding that over time people change and being willing to conform and adapt to those changes in a positive way. It's also understanding that although the both of you are together as one unit, you each have your own individual lives that you're trying to live. It doesn't mean that they don't want to spend time with you. It just means that they got their own shit going on, and you should be adult enough, mature enough to let them handle their business on their own time and in their own way without any interference. A successful relationship also means understanding that sex is not the end all and be all of the relationship. A lot of successful relationships don't even have sex in the equation. But we do know for a lot of people, sex is muy importante in most relationships. So you have to decide whether or not it's the backbreaker for yours. So that is where I'm coming from in the sense that I have enjoyed a very successful relationship, and it did not come without work. It did not come without growing pains, and it definitely did not come without me fucking up from here to there. It's just that you learn from your mistakes and you seek to atone for those mistakes. And in doing so, the other person now has an opportunity to see you grow a little bit too. And it might actually motivate them to take similar steps. You just never know. So that's where I'm coming from with my take on a successful relationship. And I now hand it over to you, Mo.
So what you want to know my take on it? What do I think make a relation people that's been together or married for more than about 10 years? And it seems like everyone I talk to literally says the same thing. Forgiveness. Everybody says that. So you got two people that are not perfect. They may be perfect for each other, but they're still not perfect as an individual. So you're not going to have a perfect relationship. Um, so I think that you're going to make mistakes. Mistakes because I've seen people apologize, yet they went right out and they did it again. And that's up to their significant other if they want to forgive them or not. But those people, those same people will claim that it was a mistake, even though they keep doing it. But it, also, people's level, I don't know if I should say level of forgiveness or the things people tolerate is also different. What I'm willing to tolerate may be different from what you're willing to tolerate. I've seen some people tolerate things that I absolutely would not tolerate, and they've been married for 20 years. I'm like, oh, really? Y'all been married for 20 years? And then you look at what they've been through, and it's like, really? Your husband did what? And you stayed with him? Girl. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna say who's right and who's wrong because I don't judge people. But I would definitely say forgiveness is up there because we change every day, we grow every day. You're not the same person you was yesterday. So I think that when you're not a perfect person, you're going to need some type of forgiveness. And I think that
Okay.
that is the key to a successful relationship.
Okay. So you talked about some things that are just completely unforgivable. Like there's no chance of coming back from it at all. What are at least three things that you think are totally unforgivable in a relationship?
I think that varies from person to person. What I may say is unforgivable, another person may not feel that way. I've heard people say everything is forgivable. You know, when you really love somebody, I think that people forgive more because love can make you do some crazy things. And I've seen that. I've seen people forgive. I mean, forgive for things that I'm just like, wow.
Like
And
what? Give us an example of something that just made you be like,
you
what
know
the
what?
hell?
No. I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to offend people. You know, some people
Okay.
may get offended
All right.
by
Fair
that.
enough.
And I
Fair
don't, and
enough.
I'm not about to tell people's business either. Like I don't tell people's business, and plus I don't want them to get offended or feel like I'm judging them. So, um, but you
So
know, for
leaving a swallow of juice in the container, that's forgivable.
yes, I mean it's annoying, but I can forgive. You know, but yes, yeah, yeah. So, um, I don't. Let me see. Is there anything that because I will put out I am single. I'm not gonna act like I'm some relationship expert. I am a single woman. I've been single for a while. Um, so as far as my past relationships, what did I not forgive for? Well, I would say it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like I did forgive, but they kept doing the same thing over and over. So that became a problem. And I would say being full of shit, you know, like and basically
Tell them how
and
you
I
really feel, sis.
basically for me, and I've had this issue several times, like if somebody say they're gonna do something and they don't do it, that's something that really gets under my skin. And I could forgive once or twice, but when you keep doing it over and over, and I've had
Shit get old fast.
yeah, and I've had guys apologize for doing things, and I forgave them, and then you know what happened? They did it again and again. So people take your forgiveness for granted. You know, it's like I use the term foolish forgiver. I don't know if anybody else ever heard that, but I always tell people don't be a foolish forgiver because people will take advantage of your forgiveness.
A
And I
foolish forgiver. Hmm.
yeah, and I have been there before. So I'm like, he did this, I forgave him, he did it again. I forgave him, he did it again. So it's like, are people really sorry for their actions? Is that really a mistake? People be like, well, everybody makes mistakes. Was that really a mistake if you keep doing it though? You know? So we have to realize if people is doing something because they're taking our forgiveness for granted or are they really sorry for it. But back to the being full of shit. So yes, if you say you're gonna do something and don't do it, then I consider you not only full of shit, but you're also not dependable. And that's also not attractive. If you say we're gonna go out Saturday night to some restaurant, here you come with an excuse. The next Saturday night, we're gonna go out to this restaurant. It's another excuse. Next Saturday, bruh, you full of shit, And I've dealt with that before with multiple guys, and the situation might vary, but it was all the same. They say they were gonna do something and didn't do it, And I'm like, that is unattractive. You can't just be non-dependable, full of shit. Like, what kind of relationship we in if I can't depend on you?
Now I'm wondering what Kevin Samuels would have to say to that.
Fuck Kevin, fuck Kevin Samuels, and I'm saying that live. I don't like him.
I'm just wondering what he would have to contribute to that. But
Something
I, I
negative.
mean, I have to admit, I've been that dude in the past in other relationships. I've been that dude that say, yeah, this weekend I'm gonna come and pick you up. I'm gonna take you out. We're gonna do X, Y, Z. But then by the time the weekend comes, and I'm just being totally honest, I ain't feel like doing it. So I would have to then come up with a lie or an excuse to say, you know what, I got to go to work. I forgot that I had to work or whatever. I would come up with some excuse, some way of getting out of it. And when it was brought to my attention that, you keep making promises that we're going to do this, and you keep making promises that we're going to do that, and nothing ever happens, I'm done. But as a self-absorbed male, such as I was at the time, I would get super pissed off. Like, what you mean you done? You going overboard. You overreacted. I would take on that stance. But just like you said, in reality, I was full of shit. And I knew I was being full of shit. And she knew I was being full of shit. But there's something in us males that we will still defend ourselves to the last, even though we know we fucked up. And we know it was us.
Most definitely.
We will defend ourselves to the last. So I totally get where you're coming from when you say you can't be full of shit. You have to be consistent, and most importantly, you have to be honest. Let's say even if you do keep telling this woman, I want to take you out, I want us to go out for a nice dinner, or I want to take you to the club or to the beach or whatever. And when the day comes, you don't want to do it because you're tired. You need to be man enough and open and honest enough to tell her that, you know what, after doing all the shit I got to do Monday through Friday, come Saturday, I really just want to chill. I just really want to relax. I don't really want to have to, go through all of these different steps to make this or that happen. And give her the opportunity to say, well, you know what, I'll come and chill and relax with you. Or for her to decide, well, you know what, it doesn't seem like your lifestyle right now is going to support what I really want in a relationship. And at this time, I got to exit stage left. But a lot of us men were too selfish to allow the other person to, that opportunity to make that decision on their own. So we do what we always do: lie.
Of course, and keep lying on top of it. So, um, yeah, my thing is I have ended relationships due to that because you're showing me you're not dependable, and then if you start lying, that's even worse. That's throwing fuel into the fire. So it's like, oh, now you're a liar. First you're full of shit, you're not dependable, and now you're a fucking liar. So it's like F this, and I have left multiple relationships over that. I'm not that female that's gonna be putting up with shit. I'm very independent. I don't need a man, so don't come in my life with that BS. Like you finna be full of shit because I don't need you. And I would tell a dude that in a heartbeat. So you can't just be with me and playing games or lying and all of that shit because I'm just simply not the one.
Now, in your experience, does it seem like when you do call a dude to the carpet like that, are men and this is totally from your own unique experience, do you feel that men are more quick to all of a sudden trade a victim role in the situation, or do more men tend to step up to the plate and admit, yeah, I fucked up, what can I do to fix it?
Both. They always play the victim role. Of course they do. But then it goes back to what I was saying earlier. They will apologize, but they're gonna do it again. So your question, that two-part question is yes to the first one, they're gonna play the victim, and also yes to the second one. Because they're gonna do it again. You know. But again, I have been forgiven maybe once or twice, but if they keep doing it, I can't keep forgiving.
So
Not for the
from
same thing.
right. So from that experience, from having those experiences, if you could give dudes a piece of advice, just one piece of advice that could fix all of that shit. Not maybe fix it, but at least minimize the potential of it happening. What would that one piece of advice be that you would give most guys?
Stop lying. Tell the truth. Shit. If you don't feel like going, you just don't feel like going. I had a guy one time and he did that. He was supposed to take me somewhere. He claimed he was gonna take me somewhere special. He didn't tell me where it was. But every time it was time to go, oh my stomach hurt. Oh my leg hurt. Oh, I gotta go to the hospital. I mean, it was always
What the
something.
fuck?
And it wasn't that his first time doing that. It was actually like the second or third time. And I didn't break up with him, but that's when I started noticing he was full of shit because that was like the second situation. The first time he said he was gonna take me, um, well, I don't want to say that because I don't want him to. Not that I give a damn because I don't, but you know,
We
I
don't need
just
no lawsuits this evening.
yeah, something like that. Well, not that I'm gonna say his name,
Right, right.
but he told me he was going to do something like take me around the island driving, like sightseeing and stuff like that. It didn't happen. I kept asking him, when we going? Oh, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Damn, all we doing is driving around the island. What the hell? Yeah, I'll let you know. Or sometimes he would just ignore me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't know what that's all about. Why is he making all these excuses? I'm gonna leave it alone. Then it came up again. I'm gonna take you somewhere special one day. Cool. Where are we going?
One day.
Saturday. No, no. He said like Saturday or something. I'm like, cool. Yeah, that where we going? Saturday come along. Oh, my stomach hurt. Oh, my legs hurt. Not. We can go tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to And I was like, that was the second time. I'm like, hold on now. This is the second time the dude done flaked out on me. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You full of shit. And
Now,
we didn't.
were all of these experiences here in Hawaii?
Well, I've been here 12 years, so I've had a lot of experiences here. Yes. Let me cut on the light. It's getting dark. Hold on.
Okay. So while we wait for Mo to put some light on the situation, so to speak, fellas, you heard it. Stop lying. And I get it. Sometimes you feel like you have to lie to save a person's feelings, but experience is the best teacher. Just tell the truth. If
Pretty
you
much.
don't feel like taking her nowhere because you're tired or you're short on cash or you're just not feeling it. You're not feeling it with her. Be man enough, be honest enough to just simply say that. Stop bullshitting. Just tell her the truth.
Exactly. You know. So, um, yeah, tell the truth. Cause that full of shit attitude, non-dependable, that is not attractive. And a relationship can end for that. I don't want a man that I can't depend on, honey.
Okay. So switching gears from that a little bit, because we kind of talked about a successful relationship. And I said a successful relationship versus a perfect relationship. And I may even want to go as far to say a healthy relationship versus a quote unquote perfect relationship, or a relationship in where one person has their mindset on what they think is a perfect relationship, but they didn't take a minute to let the other person know. So, which do you think is more important, having a perfect relationship or having a healthy relationship?
Well, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't believe that there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. I mean, you got two people that's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So I don't believe you can have a perfect relationship. So I do believe in healthy relationships, just not a perfect relationship.
Okay, bet. Now, do you think that, and this is of course for everybody, how important do you think sex is in a relationship?
I personally think that is very important. However, um that would all be dependent on that couple too. I don't know if everybody would feel the same way, but me personally, I think sex is very important in a relationship, and I think sexual compatibility is very important also. Like we would
Now,
have to be sexually compatible
now,
also.
do you worry about the body count?
I don't even ask about a count. I never did. Everybody
You've
got a
never
pass.
asked a guy about a body count.
No, everybody got a pass. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Unless he needs something, he needs to tell me. Like if he got some type of STD or something like that, then maybe I need to know that information. But as far as how many women he's been with, I honestly don't want to know. And I've had nobody have asked me that either.
Hmm.
I don't feel like I mean that just doesn't concern me. As long as he's, again, like I said, unless he had an STD or something, I really don't care about how many women he's been with.
All right. Now, want to open the floor to something that you brought up the other day, and we got to talk about this. People, we got to talk about this because, fellas, it affects all of us. There apparently is a shortage of men, not only in the world, but definitely here in Hawaii. I've been hearing all types of horror stories about women going to events that are full of nothing but other women.
Yes.
So let's speak on it. What the hell is
Well,
going on in the 808? What's up with
I
this shortage of men?
I think being that you are a man, you should speak for the brothers. Because as me, excuse me. Um, as for me and other women, we don't know what's going on. We trying to figure that out too. So yes, I'm gonna need you to speak for the brothers. Why y'all ain't coming out to these events? What's going on here?
Okay. Well, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for every brother, but I will speak for us older brothers. For me, well, I guess the big thing for me is that I'm already kind of, I'm good. I'm settled. I'm in a relationship that I feel is successful, and I don't really feel a need to go to events, quote, uh, to look for women per se. Maybe I would want to go to network with other people, find out what other people doing, broaden my network that way. But switching to my single man's mind, if I want to meet a lady, depending on the purpose of meeting, I may not necessarily want to do it at a brunch. A brunch doesn't say brothers you need to come. It don't say that to me. Brunches are for females. As far as most of us brothers are concerned, brunches are for females to sit around and talk about the last book they read and sip mimosas and shit. It's not where you would find a lot of brothers, as opposed to people being trained in the way that they hunt. If you're trained in the way that you hunt and you are kind of stuck in that where I'm supposed to hunt mindset, if I'm hunting for a woman, I'm going to try to hunt at a bar. I'm going to try to hunt at a nightclub. I might even try to hunt at somebody else's party, a house party. But I'm not necessarily thinking, oh, this is where the ladies going to be at when I hear the word brunch. You know, that says that's my hearing is shut down already. As soon as I heard the word brunch, I didn't listen to nothing else. Paint and my brain shut down. They're not events or social gatherings where a person would automatically think that that's where black men in particular are going to go and try to meet ladies. It's just not a part of our culture. And I think that as more people try to expand their horizons, culturally speaking, what they fail to realize in that is that it may be something that attracts a certain type of man. But for most brothers, we ain't attracted to that shit. I don't want to go to that shit. I paint. I don't want to go somewhere and paint. If you're talking
You
about
know,
let's go somewhere where I can holler at some females, then yeah, let's do that. But I ain't trying to go sit and paint and shit.
you're the third person that mentioned something about a brunch. What brunches are y'all talking about? Because I've heard
I've
you
seen a lot
mention
of I've seen a few, ads and postings about, brunches. I guess they brunches, right? Day
out
parties.
here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, so a day party, is that what you're talking about? Because you do have brunch where I the brunch I've seen is like for women, like women brunches, but I haven't seen anything where men were included. So I didn't know
And I
what you
think
were
that's
talking
the other
about.
side of it too, is that a lot of the events that have transpired as of late in Hawaii have been geared toward women and empowering women, bring women together, and that's great. That's not a bad thing at all. But what it does is it does send a signal that men, y'all not allowed. So it kind of sets up this thing where men can be petty, we can be jealous, we can be bratty. Oh, y'all always holding shit for women when y'all gonna hold some shit for all the brothers to celebrate being brothers. We see all this stuff where women get to celebrate being women and I am woman, hear me roar, and that's all great. But when the conversation or the narrative shifts toward the men, it's usually something fucking negative. And we get tired of that.
But why
Especially
can't a man do that? Set something up for the brothers. maybe maybe there are a lot of brunches for women because women are the ones setting them up. Why can't a man, if y'all want to do something, y'all can set up
true,
y'all own brunch or something?
true. I
But
mean,
I
I've gone
mean,
to events back home where we had, 100 Men in Black, 1,000 Men in Black, different things like that promote, brotherhood and fellowship and different things like that. And those things are great. They're awesome.
yeah,
But I mean, if we're talking about events where it would inspire men to look for women, I think that in in the hopes of people, wanting to do things that are different, and this is just my head talking. I think some people who get behind some of these events and organize some of these events been watching too much fucking Love and Hip Hop. That shit work on TV. It don't work in real life. It does not. You know.
but I mean, speaking for some of these parties, besides the brunch, again, I mean, as far as like parties that's been out here, they are for men and women. There's nowhere saying for women only. Like say drip meet. That I don't think that was for women only. Those parties that they have, like the day parties, the love parties, citrus party. I don't think those were for women only. It's just that men are not coming out.
Hmm.
So that's what it is, and I don't know why. You know, me and another female that we have discussed before, um, we wondering. You know, we're all wondering the same thing. Where are the men? These are not women only events. Yet you go somewhere, it's 200 women and 20 men. Half of the men don't even look like they even like women. So the other half they come with women. You know, so it's kind of like what exactly is going on. So that's why I say maybe you should answer that as a man to see your
Well,
perspective. Because as a
as a man
woman,
who's
I
lived in
have no idea.
Hawaii, I mean, if we're only talking about black men and women, or if we're just talking about men and women in general, a large part of the population here in Hawaii is military or military affiliated. So a lot of those folks, when they come here, they come with the other halves or they come with their
Yeah.
dependents, so on and so forth. So when you want to break it down even further to black people, we only make up a very small percentage of the state population. Now, for those of us who come here from the mainland that are military, we're coming from one of four light infantry divisions. And all of those light infantry divisions are in the South. So you already got people coming from a really conservative, traditions based place. So a lot of those people that are coming, they already hitched, they already hooked up, they already
Yeah.
spoken for.
So why is there so many single women? That don't answer that question. You still see 200 single women at these parties. The
If you
military
really,
are full of men, so
if
that's
you really
still
want
kind
my
of
take on it, if you really want my take on it, is that society has done a really good job of teaching women that they don't need a man. It's done a really good
yeah.
job of emasculating men, black men in particular. Our society's done a really good job of it. It's basically put this notion into a lot of young women's mind that the only thing you should need a man for is to fuck you and pay for your fucking hair to get done.
Well, I think that it's kind of like we were taught to be more independent. You know, not as far as oh, I just don't absolutely need a man. It's no, I'm not gonna put up with a man's shit. It's more different. I'm single, but I would love to be in a nice, healthy relationship. But the minute a dude come in my life with that bullshit, you know, like we discussed earlier, that bullshitness, you know, the disrespectful behavior, lies, cheating, abuse, all of that, and abuse can be verbal. The minute a dude come to my life with that BS, he gonna find out how independent I really am. Because I can honestly say, even though it hurt, I have left every man I've been with because they all hurt me. They all broke my heart. I did not want to leave them, but they hurt me. And so they found out how independent I really was. I don't need them. I have my own money. I keep my own place. I got my own cars, good credit, my own bank accounts. I do that on purpose so that I would never need a man.
Right
You know,
there, right there. I've heard that from so many women in my lifetime, where women would lay out their resume. What I need, I don't need you. I got my own car. I pay my own bills. I got this, I got that, and I look right back at them and say, "Well, that's good because I got the same shit too."
yeah. So
So
it's
so
not
now what?
that
So you
it's.
know what I'm saying?
I
So then
think
it's
that
like, now what?
a lot of us don't need a man, but we would like to have one. But it goes back to that we're not putting up with nobody's crap because we have that. You know, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I want a relationship like my grandparents and ancestors and all that."
Ooh wee.
When they
Ooh,
have, I get tired of people saying that because life was so different back in
it was
those days.
way different. Way different.
Exactly. You
I
know,
don't
a
I
lot
don't want a life like my parents had because I watched them both. I watched my father work himself work until the day he died. I
right, and I'm
watched them do that. I don't want that
yeah,
kind of life.
exactly. And you know, a lot of women were not as independent back then as a lot of women are these days because there were not a lot of opportunities for women. You know, a nurse, a
Especially black
cook, a
women.
house. Yeah, exactly. A nurse, a cook, a house help. But you know, you got women in all kind of positions these days: firemen, police officers, political stuff. I mean, you they could not do that back in those days, so they didn't make as much money. And I heard a lot of other stuff too. I had to do my research. I heard some women weren't allowed to have stuff in their names, like a house or
Right.
something. I heard a lot of women didn't know how to drive. I heard a lot of women, what else they say? I don't know, but it was a lot of stuff that women also couldn't do. So maybe a woman couldn't buy her own house or rent her own house back in the day. Maybe there were not a lot of job opportunities for a woman with 10,
But
8 to 10 kids.
do you ever think, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, but do you ever think that maybe women were given too much independence? Maybe women were given
So you think we're too
so much independence. No, no, I'm asking a question. Do you ever think that women were given too much independence? Because this is something that we hear a lot. I don't need a man. Okay, well, who told you that? Who told you that you didn't need a man? Because how
What do
many
you
men do
mean?
you see walking around saying I don't need a woman?
Well, what do
Who
you mean
put that
giving?
thought
Who
out
gave
there?
us? What do you mean gave us independence?
No, that I didn't say
Like, what do you
give.
mean we
You,
were given too much independence?
you gotta listen. See this.
You said women. Okay, say that
I
again.
said,
Maybe I heard it wrong.
do you ever think that women were given too much independence? Because we always hear that, right? I don't need a man for this. I don't need a man for that. I have my own. Yet you rarely hear men say that. I don't need a woman. I don't need no female. You rarely ever hear men say that. But you always hear women say that.
Yes, you did. You said women were given too much independence. What do you mean somebody gave us our independence? Like, I
I
don't
You
understand what you're
still ain't
saying.
listening. I didn't say somebody gave y'all independence. I said, do you ever think that women were given too much independence?
So you're
In this,
saying, do you think
do
that
you
women
think
are
that
too independent?
that sometimes having all of that independence tends to work against folks as opposed to working for them?
I personally don't feel that way. Do you feel that way?
To some extent, yeah, I do. Um,
Well,
and it's maybe because I'm an older brother. I don't know, but I tend to think that okay, you say you don't need a man for nothing. Okay, well then change your own tire then. Fix your own broke shit in your house. And when you want to bust a nut, you know, not to sound mean with it, go fuck yourself. So so they're saying something and not understanding how it sounds to the rest of the world. And then they're saying something and having a full understanding of what those words mean. To say that you don't need someone, I don't need a man. Okay, so you don't need a partner in life. You don't need someone to console you when you need consolation. You don't need someone to share your successes with. You don't need someone to make love to or be made love by to. You don't need any of those things. That's what you're saying. And that's what I hear, or that's what most men may hear when they hear those words. I don't need a man. Okay, well, then that tells me I don't need to be wasting my time fucking with you to hear you say that. But what we may rather hear is, I am independent enough to take care of myself. But I would, just like you said, I'm independent enough to take care of myself, handle my own business. But yeah, I'm keeping myself open to the possibility of sharing my life with that special man that's going to, be there for me, do for me, and allow me to do the same for him. That's probably a message that most people would be more receptive to than just hearing, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Well, shit, I don't need a third leg. I don't need a fourth, I don't need three sets of teeth. But there's some things that when you say them, unless you really understand the gravity of what you're saying and the message that it's sending, it just sounds like bandwagon talk. Because same as you see a lot of people will hop on social media, flashing their rent money to make it seem like they're making a lot of money, or taking pictures of themselves everywhere they go to make it seem like they out and about when really they just taking the same route to work that they take every day. I think that we get caught up in perception and don't want to deal with reality enough. Because I would never sit and tell somebody I don't need a woman. Fuck yeah, I need a woman. I need a woman. God bless me with one, but if I didn't have her, then I would be out here looking. You damn right, because I need a woman. It's not that I need someone to keep me from being lonely, but I want a partner in life. And for me, that's not someone of the same sex. That is a woman. you know. And by woman, I have my own definition of what that is to me, because every man's definition of what a woman is different. Same as, I guess, for women, you know, their definition of men may vary from woman to woman. So that's what I mean when I say, or when I ask, do you feel like that sometimes people have been given too much independence to the extent that it works against them because it alters their thinking in a way that works against them?
I think it's more about like what you were saying earlier about somebody to console you and all of that stuff. I think it goes back to you could possibly do that without a man. It's like I said, we don't need a man, but we want one. So that's why I said that earlier. I would like to be in a nice, healthy relationship, but honey, it's plenty nights where I cried myself to sleep and woke and dried my own tears, woke back up the next morning, went on my way. I have been single for years and I'm doing just fine. So that's what I mean by I don't need a man. However, I would like to have one. I mean, I'm doing just fine without one. However, the desire is there. So a lot of us, when we say we don't need one, it's because we're doing perfectly fine without one. But the desire is there.
Now, on the flip side of that, if we're just going to be talking about us, and by us I mean us black folks, shout out to the black nation, but but if we're going to just limit the conversation to that, and you're going to want to hear my take on this, you might want to, you know, strap on your seatbelt for this one. What I think that the black men and women that you have in the world today are descendants of the survivors of the Middle Passage, the survivors of 400 years of slavery. We are the direct descendants of that stock. That is not weak stock. So you literally have an entire race of people who are more or less, I would say more than half of black folks in the world, we are all alpha personalities, alpha males, alpha
You think
females,
so?
because we come from the strongest blood. We come from the strongest stock. Survivors of the Middle Passage, those who survived slavery, can't be weak and do that shit. So I think that because we have all of these really, really strong personalities, it has always seemed to one or the other that, especially for us men, oh man, why do sisters want to argue all the time about every damn thing? You know, how come it can't be easy? How come it just can't be I say we're gonna do this and she be like, okay, all right, we're gonna go do that. How come it can't be like that? And conversely, women will say the same thing. Why don't he just do what the fuck I say do? Life would be so much easier if he just listened to me. He wouldn't have all these problems if he would just do it the way I told him to do it. I'm sure you probably heard this stuff before from both sides of the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that because we have such strong personalities in our community, in the black community, that it does at some point to some people seem to be something adversarial, like it's us against them, or you know, black men ain't this and black women ain't that. Myself personally, there's nothing there's nothing more beautiful to see in my eyes than a strong black man and a strong black woman united in love and moving accordingly, without all the bullshit, without all the drama, without all the haterisms. There's nothing more beautiful than that to me, because that's the image that I grew up with in my own mother and father. Not to say that my father was perfect, not to say that my mother was perfect, but they were together until the day that he died, over 30 years. I've never been in a relationship with nobody for 30 years, but I've been in a relationship with one person long enough to know that that shit takes work.
Mm-hmm.
It is not no fucking easy road. It's not.
Yeah,
And
I've heard
now,
that a lot too.
you know, especially nowadays. So it bothers me a lot when I hear brothers say that they don't want to, you know, try to deal with a black woman because they argue all the time and da 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 da. I don't think it's that. I think that because black women have had to fight literally for every inch that they've ever had in this damn world, it's kind of hard to not know when you don't have to fight. It's kind of hard to know when I don't have to fight. I don't have to fight for this. I don't have to fight for that. But as a man with a black woman, I feel like you have to project to her that you have the strength to catch her back, that you have the willingness to be soft for her in the places that she needs you to be soft, and be hard for her in the places where she needs you to be hard, not just between your legs. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, but if I can speak on when you say us black women like to argue, we like to fight. Now, are these black men or whoever the black woman choose to date, are they giving us a reason to want to fight? Now, I don't
That's
think
the other
nobody
side of
wake.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think nobody wake up in the morning. Man, I'm bored as hell. Let me start a fight. Let me pick a fight. I'm ready to do it. At least I have not. Now, I have been in arguments. I have been in physical altercations, and I can attest to you that every one of them they gave me a reason to. They were full of shit, lying, cheating, doing shit they ain't supposed to be doing. So that causes a fight. You see, there's a cause and there's an effect. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So, do you agree to that? If a woman want to fight or argue, there is a reason for that. There's a reason for everything, right?
I believe that any woman who feels like she has to fight, and I don't mean fight in the sense of a physical fight, although that shit can't happen, and to me that's fucked up. No man should be doing that shit to a woman, period, regardless of race. But I think that when I say fight, I mean operate from a place where she doesn't feel that she can relax in the situation. You know,
Well, I
she can't
mean,
let her guard down. You know what I'm? You know what I
well,
mean?
I
Like she
don't.
can't let her guard down, can't relax, can't trust fully and completely, can't really just totally give in to whatever she may be feeling for that dude because of always having to be on her guard, always having to, you know, keep one eye open, so to speak, and never be totally asleep.
It goes back to, did he give her a reason to do that? Because if he's been disrespectful, then maybe she has a reason for him to be on her guard and can't sleep. What if she has forgiven him for doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing? Now
Mm-hmm.
that trust is broken. Now she's on her guard, and and one foot out the door and all of that stuff. I've been in relationships myself where I had one foot out the door because of that forgiving and him confessing up. When I forgiven him, he messed up. So yes, I've been in situations where I was one foot out the door and I was 2 feet out the door. Said, "Fuck you, I'm gone." You know. So, and if a person has been hurt so many times, then I think it's a natural thing for a person to not be so trusting, especially if you around a lot of other people and you see them going through something. Like if you got a bunch of friends and you see their husbands out here doing something they ain't supposed to be doing, and then you like, well, shit, my man could be doing the same thing. So I think a lot of it goes back to if he's giving her a reason to act like that. Say for example, if he's cheated before, and she forgave him, do you really think that she's just going to fully trust him again 100%? I mean, some people say trust, once that trust is broken, you can never get it back. But people do forgive. Can forgive, but is that trust completely back? Like, I'm just going to trust you as much as I did the day I
Mm.
met you, even though you done did what you're not supposed to be doing. Even though you didn't say cheated on me or something like that, and I forgave you, is that trust going to be back that I know for sure you're not going to do it again if I forgive you? Now, people have different reasons for doing things, like say cheating. I'm going to just throw that out there. People have reasons for doing things such as cheating or other stuff, being disrespectful. But, when somebody forgives you, is that trust back completely? So if there is an argument or a fight, I think that had to come from somewhere. That had to come from somebody doing something that they may not have been supposed to be doing, some type of disrespectful behavior, some type of full of shit behavior, or something like that.
Okay. Now there's a lot to unpack. Oh, yeah. There's a lot to unpack in what you just said, especially when it comes to cheating. because cheating may mean different things to different people. Um,
Yes.
Now, for myself personally, I in a relationship, I'm not going to walk out and go do something with somebody else, especially in Hawaii. This place too damn small for that.
Definitely too small.
But there have been instances where the word cheat was brought into the conversation because of words that were said. Um, uh, I guess inappropriate jokes that were shared between people, and that again kind of goes back to what I said earlier about, you know, you have to grow within a relationship. Although that type of behavior may have been acceptable with the last person you were with, may not be acceptable with the person you're with now.
Right.
So if you think that, you know, cracking sexual jokes with your female friends and your other lady was cool with it because she was like, they just joking, you know, he ain't doing nothing. The next lady not really understanding how much shit she's been through. And that's another thing that you have to, that's where the investment in time comes in a relationship. Because it takes time for a person to develop or reach a level of comfort where they can tell you the deep dark stuff about their past, you know, the stuff that they have never told a soul, stuff that they would have otherwise gone to the grave with, which would explain why they react to certain things the way they do, or why they feel about some things the way that they do. And you may not have known that prior to you doing what you did. And then the word cheating comes into it. Well, I feel like you cheated on me because I would never make jokes like that with one of my male friends, even though you may feel like I don't give a fuck if you did. Shit, it's just a joke. But it has a deeper meaning to that person because of shit that they've been through. And you didn't know. So when you do know, you have to, you know, modify your behavior accordingly. So so there was a lot to unpack in what you said, and I get the whole thing about, you know, there had to be some kind of precipitating event to spark the argument, spark the fight, or spark the need to feel like they got to fight. But I think that what also needs to be added to that is you still don't know what's all in her wheelhouse or his wheelhouse, because it can go either way. You could do something that to you is totally insignificant, totally has no meaning at all. And the other person goes the fuck off, and you sitting there like, okay, what the hell did I do? And I've been in that situation. I'm sure that maybe you have too, in your past relationships, and you still sitting there wondering, like, okay, I didn't do shit, so why is he that upset? You know, and it could be something totally benign. You know, I don't know shit. You went to sleep with the TV on, and you wake up and this person is all in your shit, and you trying to figure out, okay, what the hell did I do wrong? You went to sleep watch with the TV on. Okay. And what's so terrible about that? You just don't do that. Well, you know that there's something else behind that shit. It ain't just about you laying there going to sleep with the TV on. But it may take them some amount of time to reach a level of comfort with you to really disclose to you what that means to them and why they react to that shit the way that they do. So there has to be that investment of time, I think, in a relationship as well, so that the other person or even yourself can get to that level where you're really ready to divulge your innermost, darkest secrets to your other half. You know, so they understand exactly what makes you tick and what, you know, turns you on, what turns you off. I just in this day and age, though, I don't feel like people are willing to make that type of commitment. I don't see that people are really willing to invest that kind of time. You know, my mother has a word for it. She calls us the disposable age because everything is so fast. You can instantly download a movie, you can instantly download a song. Hell, you can damn near instantly download a relationship with all these dating websites. So she put it to me in this way, that People are quick to throw everything away these days. They don't never want to try to fix nothing. That makes perfect sense when you really think about it. People are quick to throw some shit away. They don't want to take the time and effort, to fix something. If you got something in your house right now, so let's say your TV breaks, and it ain't really broken. Maybe the power button don't work as good as it used to. Before, you would take your TV to a TV repair shop, pay whatever you had to pay to get it fixed, bring it back to the house, keep using it. Nowadays, that shit break, that motherfucker go in the dumpster, and you back at Walmart getting another one, bringing a new one. Never mind the old one. So I say all of that shit to just kind of bring it back around to healthy relationships and successful relationships versus perfect relationships. And I totally agree with you 100%. There will never ever be something, at least I don't think, that I could look at in my life and say I have a perfect relationship. But I do think I have a successful one, and it will hopefully stay successful with continued work. And that's the other side of it. The work don't never stop. You got to keep working at it, keep working, because people change, and every time they change, you may have to be willing to conform and adapt to those changes. The relationship will only end when you stop being willing to do that. That's the way I feel about it.
Yep, sounds great.
Now, one last thing, understanding or trying to understand how that plays into this shortage of men. Do you think that men just don't want to put in the work no more? They just want it easy?
Well, I have heard some men say that they are like not loyal to one woman because of of the ratio of the shortage. I've heard several guys say that. They was like, "Well, what do I need to be faithful for when women outnumber men? I shouldn't have to be faithful." And I have also heard women say that too. That I don't know if you remember when I said I heard some women say that it's not fair for a woman to have a man to herself because of the ratio of men to women. I don't agree with either of those, but I have heard people say that. Both of those statements I have heard people say. And I think as far as research is concerned, they say that there are not a lot of black women outnumber black men due to like incarcerations and deaths and deaths from all different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so due to incarceration and deaths, that's why black women outnumber men. Now I have been to other countries and I've seen the same thing. I've been to Korea, I've been to the Philippines, and I've been other places, but those two countries specifically, it appeared to be the same way. And I heard about that nation in Africa where it was mandatory for a man to marry more than one woman because of the same thing. So maybe it's the same everywhere you go, maybe um, as far as why women outnumber men. Now, where I'm from Augusta, Georgia. It was not like that. I never heard of that in my life until I left Augusta. In Augusta, the ratio of men to women was the same. I went to all kind of clubs in Augusta. You got just as many men as you got women.
Right?
So I don't think it's like that in every city, but I think a lot of the larger cities it is like that. And again, incarcerations, and death. So as far as a man feeling like he shouldn't have to be loyal or faithful to one woman because of the ratio of men to women, then they say everybody got their own opinion. Then maybe he has a right to feel like that. However, if he feels like that, I don't feel like he should be in a relationship with a woman unless the woman is content with him and that type of behavior. Like for example, I don't feel like he should be with a woman and then cheat on her, hurt her, break her heart, hurt her feelings and all that. I don't think he should be with a woman leading her on to feel like they are in a committed relationship when they're not. You see what I'm saying? If he wants to say I shouldn't have to be loyal because women outnumber men, then he should be in a polygamous relationship or polyamorous relationship. Make sure the woman knows what he's doing and content with it, because a lot of women these days are content with sharing. Even black women, that's kind of a taboo to talk about, but it's real. A lot of black women
Oh, it's
are
very
sharing
real.
their man. Yeah, a lot of black women are sharing their man. A lot of women are content, and a lot of women are bisexual, so they don't mind sharing their man with other women because they want the other woman too. You know what I'm saying? So
Now maybe that's a topic for another discussion later on because I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know shit. But it just seems like to me that's an awful lot, and I mean an awful lot. Like a rise, a spike in the number of women turning to other women. And I know that that's a prickly pear to reach up and grab. That's a prickly pear. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. What's going on? Why does it all of a sudden seem like every other woman is either um, bi curious or bisexual or leaning closer and closer and closer to lesbianism? So maybe that's a conversation we should have at a different time after we both had an opportunity to do a little bit of research on it so we can kind of sound like we know what we're talking about. But but I feel you on that. And it's like when women tell me that they feel like there's a shortage of men, at first I'm looking at the woman like, girl, you are drop dead gorgeous. How in the world can you be experiencing a shortage of men? I don't understand. I mean, you look like you just stepped off a damn magazine cover. Explain to Uncle Ron, because I don't understand. And I really, in a lot of ways, still don't. Even though I hear the stats and I read shit and, you've confirmed some things, I still just don't get it. Because the women who say that, I mean, you look at the woman and you're like, God damn, how could you be experiencing a shortage of men? I mean, you look like $1,000,000. You look absolutely gorgeous. What's really going on here? So
I mean,
maybe we'll get to the bottom of it.
I've been asked a million times, "You're pretty, you're beautiful. Why are you single?" And I'm like, "Well, if I go somewhere and it's 200 women, 10 and 20 men, and half of them men don't look like they like women, and the other half came with women, then I can't do nothing about that if I don't meet anybody there. If I go on a dating app and nobody writes me, then I can't do nothing about that either. Or if I just simply don't meet anybody, then there's nothing I can do about that either. So sometimes, and I know I'm only speaking for me right here, I simply don't meet anybody. Yes, I've met a few guys that have written me on a dating app, but they weren't interesting. Like I've met, you meet a lot of weirdos on these dating apps, and a lot of people are successful on dating apps. A lot of people have met their significant others on dating apps, but some of us have not. Okay, and it's just simple as that. I've met guys that wrote me, "Hey, me and my wife's looking to have a threesome. You down?" Those type of guys write me on a dating app, or they're just not simply my type. I have a type, a specific type of man that I like, and yeah, people say you should date outside of your comfort zone. I mean, that may be fine for some people, but me, I'm just simply I like what I like. So I have a specific type of man, and
Uh
if he
oh.
doesn't fit that description, then I'm just
Uh oh.
not really attracted to him. And if I'm not
Now we
attracted
get
to
into
him,
the nitty gritty now. So what is your ideal man, fellas? Y'all better pay attention.
oh my God. If I was to say that, then I would only be speaking for me. But if you was to ask other women what their ideal man is, just know that it varies for different women. So I don't want to feel like I'm speaking for all women. Momo has Momo's type. However, other women have their own type. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
Okay, so with that understanding in place, we want the tea. Give us the tea.
So I'll tell you my type. And I'm definitely not speaking for anybody else but me. I would say physically, I like tall, muscular, younger men. Yes, I am a cougar. I like younger men. I'm in my late 30s. So I like men in their late 20s, early 30s because I feel like at that age you're not too old and you're not too young. You're just perfect. But again, all of this is my type. Just don't forget that. And something about a tall, muscular basketball player looking man. It's just attractive to me. I mean, there's that old school saying tall, dark, and handsome. So I'm not the only
Mhm.
woman that likes tall men. And all my life, even when I was a young girl, I've always been attracted to taller men. That's just sexy to me. The muscular, I don't like a man that's really, really like real big. He's so silly. and that's not and that's not to offend anybody. Any man that looks like that. I'm not trying to offend them, but that's just not my type. I like men that look like basketball players, just to be honest. And that's
Okay.
what I noticed with me. Every one of my boyfriends all look the same. They all look like basketball players. So again, that's just my type, MoeMoe's type. I'm not speaking for no other woman.
Now that's the physical
And
side of it.
yeah,
Now what
that's just
about
the physical.
personality wise?
So personality wise, um, he can't be full of shit. We discussed this. He
Honest,
can't
got to
be
be
full of
honest.
shit. I like men that's funny. I like to laugh. I love to laugh and have fun. I like men that are humble. I can't stand a man that's like stuck up, or like, well, hold on. I'm trying to say it with tact. I don't know
All
how to
about
say it.
themselves.
Well, humble can go many different ways, I guess. Um like it go have you ever heard that thing about a man can't shouldn't be eating off a paper plate? Have you heard that? Like women shouldn't
Damn,
serve a man food off a
you
paper
are
plate.
from the South.
Have you heard that?
I've heard that a long time
So
ago. Yes.
no, people still talk about that. They still post that on social media. So I'm gonna just use that as an example. Like to me, that's not attractive. That looks stuck up or something. I mean, a lot of women feel the same way as far as, oh, a man shouldn't be eating off no paper plate. But to me, it's like it's the thought that counts. If that woman took time off from work and cooked that man a hot meal and the food is good and fresh, to me that should be all that matters. Why should it matter if
Oh,
it's on a paper plate or not? That's what I
see
mean
the
by
see.
humble.
Okay, so see the way that was used in the context that it was used where I'm from is like a woman would say that because the dude had a woman that she didn't think was fine china. Man shouldn't be eating off no paper plate. That was kind of like
Yeah, I guess
a
that could
kind
be.
of, yeah, a subtle way to diss somebody. But go ahead, go ahead, go
So
ahead. I got you though.
okay, so maybe that could be perceived different ways because I never heard that before. So when I heard that, that's just the way I took it. My mother fed us very well, okay, and she sometimes we ate off of paper plates. We didn't want to wash a whole lot of dishes,
Shit,
so
I eat off paper plates now.
and, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But people are saying a woman shouldn't be feeding a man on a paper plate, and all these dudes, yeah, that's right. And I'm like, I want a man that's like he don't give a damn, if I put it on a paper plate as long he saw the effort that I made to cook him this damn meal because I didn't have to cook him shit. You know, I want a man that's more like that. Like, hell yeah, I
You
don't care
could
if you
give
cook
it to
me.
me in a hat. You could give it to me on a brown paper bag. I don't give a damn. All like, is it good? That's all I care about.
And that's what I like. That's what I'm talking about. When I say humble, that's what I mean. Like he don't care about the damn plate as long as the plate clean and as long as the damn food good. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like. I don't want no man. I ain't gonna eat this because it's on a paper plate. Like that's wrong. I ain't gonna say that's wrong, but that's just unattractive to me.
That's a little
So
too
that's what I
bougie for
mean.
me.
Yeah, but when I posted that on my plate about that paper plate thing, a lot of men they were like, "That's right, you shouldn't feed your man on a paper plate." And I'm like, "F that! If I done cooked a nice damn meal, what does it matter if it's on a paper plate or not?" So if he has that personality, then
It's
there's
not
no
gonna
else
work.
no right because he could just be that bougie, arrogant, and that's another thing.
Mm.
Arrogance is a turn off to me. Now, I've dated guys that were very good looking and they knew they were very good looking and they talked about their looks constantly. And that turned me off. I've had guys that said,
I'll let you in on something, Mo.
what?
We don't like that shit neither.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Men don't.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
imagine.
if all a woman talks about is her looks, her hair, and it seems like she's paying more attention to her fucking nails and her hair than you, yeah, that's boring. Maybe you should, go spend some time with yourself.
Right. And I've dated guys that that we're the same way. A lot of people say that with women, but there are a lot of arrogant men, especially when a man gets money. A lot of them gets very arrogant. Now, I've come upon a lot of money and I didn't tell anybody because I know how people would try to use you. You know, I have family members that even try to use me when I got money. It was just pay this bill, pay that bill, buy me this, buy me that, do this, do that, let me borrow
Let me
this, let me
hold
borrow that,
something.
give me, repetitiously,
Let me
nonstop.
hold
So
$5.
constantly. Yeah, that same person is constantly asking for shit. And it's like, you're not going to use me. You're not going to take
Now,
advantage of
don't you
me. You're
hate it
not.
when they try to play it off at first, try to have like small talk? Yeah, Mo. Yeah, Mo. So how's life in Hawaii, girl? Yeah, you been over there for a minute, though, ain't you? Yeah. You doing good? Your mama good, your uncle good, your brother good, they good. Oh, that's lovely. Hey, look at here. Let me hold $5.
Yeah, I had a dude write me a few weeks ago. I used to work with him, an old coworker, and he did that. How you doing and all that. Then he said something and asked me for money basically, and I'm just like, oh, that's what that small talk was for. Oh, that's what that was for. Are you really concerned about how I'm doing, or you need this money? Now, don't get me wrong. I help people. I definitely help people, but you're not just gonna repetitiously ask me for money because I'm gonna tell you to get a job. But we went all off the subject. We talking about arrogance and what I like. Now we talking about actual money. Let's go
Let me
back to the
hold
subject.
$5.
Yeah, that's another show. Let's go back to the subject at hand. So arrogance. I've dated guys who were talking about their looks just like females. When I walk in the gym, all the girls be looking at me. You want to fuck me and all of that. So
God damn.
I've definitely dealt with that. So a lot of men, they look good. They know they look good, and they act the same. Um, or like what else will turn me off in a man?
No. We want to know what turn you on in the man.
Oh, what turn me on? So I don't like a man
Yes.
that's arrogant. That's a turn off. I like a man that's kind of like I already said, humble, funny, good looking.
Tall basketball player body.
That's what I say. Good looking. Yes. Um, can keep a job, can handle
Mm.
himself financially. He ain't got to be no millionaire, but if he better be trying. I don't want a man that somebody else is taking care of him. Like I've met guys who claim they still live with a baby mama or something like that. You know, and that's not attractive to me. They claim they weren't together no more, but they still live together. That's not attractive
Mm.
to me. I like a man that got his own. You know, he can have a roommate, but as long as nobody's taking care of him, like his parents or something like that, that's not attractive to me, especially if you are a certain age. But I know that we all go through things like have hard times, people lose their jobs and stuff like that. So if it's just temporary, maybe I can deal with it. But if he's just permanently living off somebody or somebody's taking care of him, especially if he's over, say, 35, that's not attractive to me. If he's 21 or 22, even though I don't date men that young, but if he's 21 or 22, you're still young, you still probably can't find a job making enough money, especially in this economy, to where you can live by yourself. Shoot, I'm barely making it myself in this damn economy. I mean, inflation ain't no joke. I can't even afford a new damn house if I wanted one. But so having a roommate, being with inflation, I can accept that more than I could before inflation because I couldn't accept that before inflation. But I'm not judging nobody or putting anybody down. But a man that can do for himself, if his mom is taking care of him or something, or another woman, I ain't with it. So
Deal breakers.
and
What is the number one deal breaker for you?
having another woman married or in a relationship, I unless I personally, and again I'm speaking for me, I don't do polygamy. Um, so I have thought about it though. I will admit that I have thought about it because I know people that's done it and they say that they enjoyed it. They say that the other woman was just like a best friend. So they had their man, and then the wife was just like a good friend, best friend. They all hung out together, they partied together, they went vacations together, and they all just had a good time. So polygamy is getting more popular, and a lot of people are saying that it's not as bad as it sounds, and they have a lot of fun. So there was times where I thought about trying it, but I don't know if I could do that long term. And
Mm.
if I was to join any couple, I wouldn't be loyal to them. I would have my thing on the side. I'm not going to be loyal to a man that got another woman. But I
Player,
mean,
player.
well, I don't know if it's a player, if it's accepted. If his wife accepts that, I don't know if that's a player. Maybe that's just a polygamous relationship or a three-way relationship or something like that. But I have also met people that are in three-way relationships or polygamous relationships, and they still weren't like loyal. They still still was chasing other women and men. And I mean, I don't think that, like, if a couple opens their relationship up to a third party, say another woman, I don't think that's going to stop, say, the man from being loyal. I mean, maybe it stops some men, but I have seen men that are in three-way relationships or polygamous relationships, they still were chasing other women. So, hey, every relationship is different than with that. But for me, I would say that's the number one deal breaker when I meet a man and he has a wife or a girlfriend already. That's a turn off to me.
All right. Well, to try to sum all of this stuff up that we talked about today, or this evening, I should say, there are all types of relationships.
Right.
Um, there's successful, there's healthy, there's what people aspire to, talking about perfectionism. There are a lot of different things that can turn a person on, turn a person off, different ways of thinking about a wide variety of topics. But at the end of the day, I think what all of us want, regardless of the type of relationship that you're trying to have, regardless of your choice in partner, I think we are all inherently just hoping to be in a relationship that keeps us happy, healthy, and sane. Would you agree?
Right. Right. Definitely healthy and sane.
She's driving me crazy.
Hey, I got some friends, and no offense to them, but they married and they out here asking for prayer and shit, and I'm like, Lord,
Now, as a single woman, does
hey,
that make you stop short and be like, well, goddamn, maybe I don't want no marriage? Shit. Y'all are asking for
no,
prayer.
because as I said, I don't want to offend them, but I'm just like, honey, I'm like stuff like that. There have been times where I've been like, well, damn, I'm glad I'm single, shit. But everybody's different. Every relationship goes through things. Maybe whatever they're going through, they can't get over it. Like you said, your relationship has been hard, so maybe they are going through hard times. But I have seen some stuff where it's like, Lord, honey,
Yeah, I
uh,
don't want to frighten anybody or anything like that. When I say it's been
yeah,
hard, and what I mean is something that you constantly are going to have to work at. It's never going to stay
yes,
the same
right,
forever. you know. And I would encourage anybody that gets in any relationship to just be flexible and open minded enough to know that your mate is not going to be exactly the same person they were on the day y'all met. The older y'all get, there's going to be changes physically and mentally and spiritually.
and then when a lot of people get through all of that stuff they going through, some people come out happy on the other side. They like, you know what, we've been through so much stuff and we made it. And that's beautiful. That could be an inspiration to some people. Like, yep, even though I ain't putting up with that bullshit your husband did to me, the fact that you made it, you know, the fact that you made it and you happy, that's what we all want at the end of the day. Be
Roger
happy.
that. Well, Mo, we have got to that time. Actually, shit, we got to that time about 15 minutes ago, but that's all right.
But we were having a
Next
lot of
week,
technical difficulties.
yeah, the technical difficulties were a pain in the ass, but next week we're going to have all of this ironed out. Everything's going to be silky smooth. And in between then and now, I'm just interested to see what topics you come up with. My goodness.
Why can't we
My
come up with
goodness.
topics? Why I got to come up with
See, there you go. Now, see, you want to argue now. See,
them? This is a collective effort. This is the MoeMoe and the Don Show, not the MoeMoe Show.
Roger that. So we'll come up with some more new topics and be back next week, hopefully with a special guest. We'll see who we can lasso in. I'm Shango Da Don Rogan on behalf of Rude Boy Radio Entertainment, Rude Boy Radio 808, and Rude Boy Ribbons Entertainment. God bless y'all. Be safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next week. Mo, close us out.
All righty. Be blessed, everyone.
Deuces.